Good morning. Today I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Chapter 8 Journal. Dear Journal, my friendship with Margot was a gift. She allowed me to be exactly who I am without any desire to change me. No expectations, no bars or hoops to jump through. It was my first experience of pure love. She allowed me to be exactly me. Margot was genuine, honest, and kind without expectations or judgments. In turn, an essential process had begun, one of falling into a state of pure love with my own sovereign self. I didn't like being me for much of my life. Why couldn't I just be like this or that? I beat myself up till I was black and blue on the inside. I was in an emotionally abusive relationship with myself. I needed to heal from the effects of those early life experiences and learn to hold myself in the most gentle, kind, and nurturing ways. How did I turn it around? I finally saw it was not getting me where I wanted to be. I had to try something different. I began a new morning routine. When I brushed my teeth, I looked directly into my eyes in the bathroom mirror and said, "I love you." At first, it was a ginormous lie, and that is the truth. Nonetheless, I kept at it every morning until one day I genuinely began to feel love and compassion for the reflection in the bathroom mirror. I set the conscious intention, whichever way life came, I would be as kind, loving, and nurturing to my own self as I could be, similar to the way I care for a young child who is just beginning to grasp the whole human being thing. It was the beginning of sweetly and genuinely falling in love with the whole of me. Greek form of love, philautia, self-love. I figured I'd always be me, and plainly I can't get rid of me. It was high time to get cozy in my own skin. Soon I discovered the more kind and loving I was to myself, the more kind and loving I became to others, an outward extension of an inner change. It was not a cliche to love oneself truly. It is not a cliche to love oneself truly. It creates the capacity to genuinely extend love and kindness to all who cross my path. Over time, a pure love for the whole of me began to blossom. All of me. The good, the not so good, light and the shadow. In my life's journey, my decisions, my motivations, my thoughts, my words, my actions. Quote, "We cannot live better than in seeking to become better," end quote, Socrates. For all of these years, I'd held an innumerable amount of judgments against myself. All of those judgments produced walls, a labyrinth of walls so vast I'd nearly lost myself inside. Merely the thought of finding a road out felt exhaustingly unattainable. However, I knew I had to start somewhere, and that somewhere needed to be solid, immovable, and firm. I needed to be there, deeply rooted, regardless of which direction the tides of life came. I lived, and within me there was an ongoing pursuit to discover why. Forging a new path was the only option. I did not know the way. What I knew was my path would be lit by glow. So I started there. I began nurturing and caring for myself with the little things like a hot bath with candles, essential oils, Epsom salts, occasionally rose petals, dark chocolate, and a book in front of the fire. An evening with a glass of wine while stargazing on a blanket outside. A solo weekend getaway, relaxing and enjoying quiet time. Salsa dancing lessons. Cook and bake for the fun of it. Dance party for one in the front room. Buying myself flowers, savoring a favorite comfort food. A simple solo date night, i.e. bowling, movies, art, museums, or swinging by the ice cream/coffee shop. Daily expressions of I love you spoken to the reflection in the mirror at least once a day, but preferably several times a day. Welcoming each sunrise filled with gratitude by acknowledging all there is to be grateful for and staying mindful of it throughout the day. Favorite childhood activities, roller skating, swinging in the park, feeding the ducks, or watching a childhood movie. The next step was to allow good-hearted humor to become my initial reaction in nearly all situations. This does not apply if it's serious or dangerous. It was essential to break the old habit of negative self-talk, i.e., hitting the top of my head with a pull-down bar at the gym. Now my initial reaction is to softly laugh and shrug it off with, "It happens, I guess," versus the old reaction of, "I'm so stupid, I want to crawl under a rock right now," and berating myself. Negative self-talk is very damaging, and I realized the quicker I befriended my own self, the quicker I could undo the damage. Let me repeat that. The quicker I changed the way I spoke to myself, the quicker my life changed for the better. To read more about this beautiful process, grab your copy at www.aglowlife.com and join the journey.